Okay, so I have been debating all weekend and into this week about making this video or not, and I think I have to because I've been sick since Sunday night with the worst migraine. I've been sleeping on and off for the last 2 days. I know my migraines are caused by anxiety, and with everything going on, I know I need to get it off my chest, so that's why I'm doing this. I want to talk about George Floyd and everything that's happened with that. And I kept telling myself I wasn't gonna cry, y'all, and I'm like already about to cry. Like I just freaking started talking. But so I was in college when everything happened with Trayvon Martin, right? And I remember that feeling of me thinking to myself, you know, it's not the 60s. Like, why are we still having these conversations? This is crazy. And then it was just like one after the next after the next. It was Philando Castile, and then it was Sandra Bland, and then it was, I'm probably saying them out of order, but it was so many, and Eric Gardner, and now this. And it's like, wait, I forgot Ahmaud Arbery too was right before that. So I never thought that I would have to talk about this. I never thought any of us would be talking about this in the year 2020. Like, that's insane. We literally have phones where you can talk to people in video. Like, those two things to me don't go together. Like, how is it that we made so many advances and then we can still have to deal with this? Like, this is so... Let me start by saying, for a long time, even though I'm a Black woman in Southwest Louisiana, I thought racism was in the past, right? I thought it was an old thing and that it wasn't coming back. And I was speaking to my mom about this because we actually sat as a family and watched all the riots on Friday night. And she was like, but you know, for you guys, you didn't see it because I didn't have to see it. Like, we grew up, okay, the way we grew up, like, I had a new car at 16, right? Not new. It was like 2 years old. I think it was 2002, and I had a 2000 Dodge Stratus, which I loved. And the high school I went to was a very mixed high school. Like, literally, I had friends from all different races, all different religions, all kinds of stuff. Like, we didn't, at my school, literally no one cared. Like, it's weird, but we had like the one school where I don't remember seeing anyone get bullied. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just didn't see it. It wasn't a school-wide thing. And I had friends, like, my mom would come home in the afternoon. We'd go home first, and then she was like, I'd walk in and I didn't know who was going to be in the house because I had all kinds of friends, you know, we'd all go to parties together and stuff like that. So I had always heard my mom talk about, you know, being followed in the stores, but I never really saw it growing up. I would always hear my dad talk about how, you know, Black people get pulled over more than white people, but I'd never seen it. I've never been pulled over in my life. I've never been with anyone that's been pulled over in my life. You know, my mind, it was hard for me to grasp that. And I remember when Trayvon happened, I was like, this can't still be happening. This is ridiculous. And then when George Zimmerman didn't go to jail, I was like, this is insane. And then I remember Charlottesville was the second time. Charlottesville was different because Charlottesville legit made me afraid to drive home at night by myself. Like, I literally thought I was going to be in like a movie. Like, I kept thinking I would literally see like the truck riding up behind me and be scared. And it got to the point where when I crashed over at my parents' house, like, I'm always afraid. When my dad would get up in the morning sometimes, I'd be so nervous that something was gonna happen to him on the way to work. And I could have been my dad or one of my cousins. And earlier this year, it was in the summer, my mom, one of my cousins moved down the street from my mother's house, like not far from my mom's house. And her stepson plays football for my alma mater, that high school I was just talking about. So they were raising funds for something. They had some little thing they were selling or whatever, and they're walking door to door. Fine. My neighbor, my mom's neighbor, came knock on the door and was like asking her after he left, hey, did this guy come to y'all house? And she's like, yeah, they came. They're selling entertainment cards. And so my mom, the neighbor was like, oh, well, I called the cops on him. The kid didn't do anything. It was like a 14-year-old kid that did that. So, and then when we talked to him after she did that, he told us that another lady when he knocked on the door, went running, got a gun, and came back to the door. Now, again, this is a 14, 15-year-old kid. He was a freshman, I know that much. I think that made it, like, so real and so tangible because that was in my house where I grew up for 20 years, you know? That was the streets I walked on from the time I was 9 to the time I was, 22? When I moved out. And then, like, those neighbors came to my graduation party. Like, I don't understand what would make you think, oh, there's a kid in my yard, but he's black, so I probably need to call the cops. Like, that's... I've been seeing a lot of people, especially people that aren't black, like, being allies and, you know, doing the Black Square yesterday for Blackout Tuesday. One of my closest friends asked me when all this was going on, because I was, like, really, really going through it on Friday and Saturday. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that's what triggered this headache that's being this strong. And he was like, he's white, and he was like, I don't know what to do or what to say. And I was like, well, just say what's on your mind. Say what's on your heart if you feel you need to say something. And he was like, but I don't know how it's going to be taken, and I don't want to overstep. I don't know what people are going to think. And I get that. Like, I can't imagine how that needs to be approached by them. Like, I didn't know what to tell them. I was like, just say, you have to say something. I was like, I don't care what it is, but you got to say something. And so, because I mean, I don't feel like I need to speak up. I've been dealing with this crap. Like, again, we lived kind of in a bubble growing up. We really did. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I didn't notice until I started teaching. I teach my whole career so far as a teacher. I teach at an at-risk school, like a school where the majority of the population is below the poverty line. It's in the middle of the city. And it's our kids are kids, right? They're in middle school, but they're already so hard. They're already so, like, jaded. They're already so angry. And I would talk to them all the time about, you know, I'd pull them aside and say, you know, sweetie, if I'm asking you to put your ID on, just put it on, because if you try that outside of here, if you try that with a cop, you might not go home. That's so scary. Because the first class I taught was like 7 years ago. So they're getting their licenses and driving now. I'm always so scared that one of them are going to get killed for nothing. And there's something different about this one. I don't know what it is, but there's something different about the George Floyd situation. I don't know if it's because it's so obvious what happened and that it shouldn't have happened, but it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is, but this one hit different than all of the rest of them. And it's not just me, because the world is reacting different. People were mad about all the rest of them too. There's so freaking many, I can't even name them all, but people were mad about the others too. The marches weren't like this. The riots weren't like this. It's just different. And I don't know what's gonna have to change. I really honestly don't, because, like, we used to talk about this at work all the time. Like, the system is so messed up that I don't know how far down we'd have to break it to fix it. The best chance we do have is to vote. Okay, that's the best chance we have. I can't tell y'all how angry I was when I found out after the last election that some of the people that are the closest to me did not vote. If you're somebody that knows me personally, you know I don't miss an election. Okay, if they want to put a stop sign somewhere and we're voting on it, I'm going to vote on it. So something this big, when the stakes were that high and people didn't vote. Do you see why we're in what we're in now? Because yes, it's always been there. Yes, it's always been bad for us. It's always been worse for us than it's been for everybody else. We do have to work twice as hard. But people weren't as blatantly obvious as they are now. Like, all these videos of people calling the cops on black people, like, because they, like, already assumed that the cops are going to be on their side and, you know, you're going to be the one in trouble. Like, what the hell, y'all? What's going on? Like, so if you hashtag anything this week, if you did Blackout Tuesday, if you went to a protest, okay, if you did any hashtag Black Lives Matter, if you did any of that, you need to vote, because it would only take a small percentage of the people that marched to make some real change if you could just go vote. Because right now, y'all, that's really all the power we have, is to make ourselves visible, to not let people forget what's going on, and to vote. because this crap comes from the top. Now, I'm not going to get political on here. I mean, I don't know who doesn't know my opinion on this, but we can't take this for 4 more years, y'all. We can't. It's like we can't get a break. But when you're telling people, when the looting starts, the shooting starts, like that crap is, and let's talk about the looting too and all that stuff, the riots. A peaceful protest is one thing. I sat home and watched on Friday night how they destroyed that CNN building. Now, the thing with that is, like, CNN is one of the programs that to me is really, really showing us what's going on and not, you know, sugarcoating it. Yes, they might fear bait. Yes, they might show the worst things, but I know people don't want to see that, but we need to see the bad things too. It doesn't need to be all we see, but you need to see it so you know what's happening. Like, I know a lot of people that said they couldn't watch the tape of George Floyd. They couldn't watch what happened. You need to watch what happened. That's not, we don't have a choice anymore. Like, I don't understand where this choice comes from, but I got distracted. But the point I'm trying to make, the riots, okay? So peaceful protesting is one thing. What I saw Friday, what they showed, the people that were right in the window of the big glass at CNN, that wasn't peaceful. They were throwing fireworks in there. They were breaking the windows. They were breaking the glass. And I know they say there's like certain extremist groups that are kind of mixed in with the group. What I saw was just some people just breaking stuff just to break it. And I don't know what that solves. I never did understand that. Now, I do know that people are so angry, they don't really know what to do with that anger. But to destroy a store or a restaurant or whatever when people are just getting back to work from coronavirus, it's like we're poisoning our own drinking water. We're an oppressed community. So let's go and ruin stuff that's in our own community. Y'all didn't go do that crap to Macy's. You know, you didn't go do that crap to a chain store like that Target. Like, that was, what did Target do to y'all? Like, I don't understand what the reasoning is behind that. Now, I'm not going to tell anybody how to grieve, but I just don't understand. Like, if y'all didn't see that video where there's a lady outside of her restaurant like this, a black lady standing outside her restaurant like this, and she's like, "Don't destroy my restaurant, please." I mean, what is that about? Like, what are we saying? What are we trying to prove with that? It makes no sense to me. And like, I don't know, y'all. We got to start being more tolerant. We got to start talking to each other. That's not going to fix this, but at least, like, okay, so today they bumped the main guy up. They took his charge from a 3rd-degree murder charge to a 2nd-degree murder charge. And then they also charged the other 3 policemen with aiding and abetting. And look, let me say this too. I am not saying all policemen are bad. I don't think anybody, well, actually I have seen some people say that, but the school I worked at, I met some of the nicest, greatest policemen, sergeants, officers that I've ever met. And they took care of me. Like, there was some stuff that would go on in that school that if they weren't there, I don't know if I would be here, to be completely honest. So I'm not saying that all cops are bad, but what I am saying is now I get nervous when I see the lights come up behind me. I get nervous when, like, my dad has something stolen. Well, I don't know why I'm acting like it needs to be a code. It's not that serious, but he had his tractor. He has like a riding lawnmower, and it got stolen. The lawnmower, the tractor, they stole it in the middle of the night one night. And I remember when I woke up the next morning, I didn't know what happened. So I woke up the next morning and I heard him talking. So I went look out the window and he was talking to the sheriff. When I tell y'all, I've never been so freaking scared in my life. And that's so backwards of how it should be. I was terrified. I was so terrified. Because, you know, there are stories where they think someone's breaking into their own house. And then that person dies in their own home. Or the guy that was sitting down eating the cereal, and the girl thought she walked into the wrong apartment and killed the dude sitting on his couch. Like, what does that even mean? Like, this is, y'all, this is crazy. Or the 3 guys that were in the gym and the guy walked up to them and was like, "I didn't see your ID. I don't think you live here." How dare y'all have the nerve to do that? Like, that's, but the world has set people up to think that's okay. I don't want to deal with this person. I'm white, so I'm going to call the cops so they can get this black person, this brown person, whoever it is, they can get them away from me. And let me say something else, because this is something, and that's why I was kind of on the fence about making this video, because I know people are not going to agree with everything I say. I know some black people that don't like other black people. I'm just going to be honest. And I know y'all know some too. But let me explain something to you. Even if all of your friends are white, everyone you ever dated was white, everyone you ever talked to was white. And look, don't get me wrong. I've dated white dudes. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, whoever you love. But if it's all one thing, something is a little shysty. If you're the only black person you know and associate with, something is a little weird about that. But just know, no matter what you do when you're leaving your dinner with all of your white friends, if you get pulled over by the wrong person, that's a wrap for you. They don't care who you know. When they see you, they see a black person, okay? And then all bets are off. That's just the facts. It could be wrong. It could be against the law. It could be illegal. It could be morally wrong. It could be, hey, I'm not like that. Look at me. I'm not that guy. I'm this guy instead. If it's 3 in the morning and you're on the road with that policeman, whatever charges may or may not be filed, if you get killed, you're killed and you can't fix it. That's a freaking wrap. So honestly, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. I really honestly just needed to vent because I don't know. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure this stress is what's been causing my migraines because I haven't really been able to express this. I wanted to shoot this video like Monday and I've been in bed nonstop with this terrible migraine that has been just destroying me for the last couple days. I just can't believe this is where we at in 2020. This is crazy. Like, I mean, are you kidding me? And then I've heard, y'all, listen to this crap, okay? I've heard people say still that the cops didn't do anything wrong in that particular scene, in that particular scenario, that the cops did nothing wrong. Well, what were they supposed to do? That is so crazy to me that I don't even know what to say or what to think. And like, and I know, like, I remember when I don't want to get mad because this is not supposed to be about anger, but I remember having a conversation with a coworker and we did a Black History program at my job and it was beautiful and a lot of it was centered around Black Lives Matter. And they had this one lady there that was upset about that because she kept saying the all lives matter thing. And yes, that's true, obviously. But Black Lives Matter too, right? We're not asking for special treatment. We're just asking to get treated like everybody else. Someone said, I can't remember who it was, but someone gave this great example that saying all lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter is like if a house is on fire on the street and you get mad because the fire truck passed your house up to go put the fire out. Yes, your house is there too. Yes, you have a house, but it's not on fire. Our race is on fire right now. Like, people are getting snatched up, and that's not even counting the crimes that just happen on a regular basis, or the fact that most of us don't have the best health care and most of us don't have the best health. So we're dying of natural causes. Guess who's getting affected the most by corona? Guess what race has the most deaths? Black people. Us. Crimes that just happen in the hood, like just regular shootouts and stuff like that, that's still happening to us. We're taking each other out too. That needs to be fixed too, but I don't even have time to get into that because that's a whole separate story. And then on top of that, the people that are supposed to be helping us, they're taking us out too. And random people are taking us out too. That stuff that happened with Ahmaud Arbery, that crap hit me real hard because we live in a neighborhood like that. Well, my parents live in a neighborhood like that. My neighborhood, thankfully, is really, really well mixed. We got all kind of people here, which is awesome. But it's like, I don't think people understand, if you're not Black, how that feels. To always walk into a room and as soon as you walk in, you look for the other Black people. That's what I do. I'm just being honest. I always do. And I know certain people that I love that are in my family. I know if they invite me to something and I go, I'm probably going to be the only other Black person there. I went to Nordstrom Rack a couple months ago. This was probably last year actually now. And it was the first time in my life that I was followed by the security guard. And I was so angry because, one, I pay your salary, okay? That comes out of my check, okay? And when I shop at Nordstrom, I drop cash at Nordstrom's, okay? Not to brag or anything, but I spend money in Nordstrom. That day, I was so disgusted. I was so disgusted. I reported her, of course. I had to report her. But it's like, I get the gig, okay? I used to work retail. I spent 10 years in retail. I had none of the signs of a shoplifter. I had on a jacket that was super fitted. I didn't even have a purse. I think I just had a clutch. So what do you think I'm gonna do? I remember like Mardi Gras parades. When the cops come by us, I get nervous now. I didn't used to feel that way, but I get nervous now. You know, like I said before, my parents, you know, they make a good little bit of money. And my mom was telling me like, she's afraid my dad, they wanted to get, I forgot what kind of car they wanted to get, something nice. And she was like, I don't know if I want to get it because I don't want my husband to get pulled over every time he leaves the house. I don't want to, like now when the cops are called and I see them or they're pulled over somewhere and I see them from far away, I always have my hand on my phone in case I have to record it for evidence if something happens. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way at all. And I just wish that, we could just understand that not everyone is bad. I wish we could understand that not all policemen are bad. Not all policemen are out there just to kill black people. And not all black people are bad. They're not all going to rob you or kidnap you or hurt you in some way. Like my dad told me that he notices when he's walking in a parking lot, if he passes and someone's sitting in the car, they'll lock the door. Baby, let me explain something to y'all. My daddy don't have to rob y'all. Just being real. And in reality, if you look at statistics, look at all the massacres. That's not black people doing that. You want to be scared of somebody? Look at the statistics. You're looking at the wrong people. Like I said, I'm trying not to get mad and go off on a whole tangent, but like my mom posted something on her Facebook page and she never posts anything on her Facebook page. And she had to post because she was so angry about it. And I don't even know. Like I said, I understand it's always been bad because people been throwing that out there all the time. Oh, it's been bad for us. Oh, it's been like this. Oh, it's been like that. This has been going on. Yes, that's all true. But in my experience, it was always a question. Like I would always hear, you know, don't go in that store. They racist. They will follow you. Or yeah, they pulled him over because they said he had a tail light out, but he really didn't. They just did it because he was black. That's how it used to be, but it was still speculation. We still weren't sure. Like, you know what I mean? There was excuses. Well, he did this, 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 and this. Well, he didn't do this. He got loud with the policeman or whatever. Now it's getting to the point where you're doing every single thing with the utmost respect and you still get killed. What's changed? What is the difference? Why are people so emboldened now that they can just say and do whatever they want and just think it's okay? Like, I can just kill somebody and I'm not going to jail. What? Like, when did that even happen? When did that even go down? Y'all. And I think it's good that people are waking up to it, to what's been going on. Oh, and something else I need to mention, and then I'm going to wrap because I'm really, like, getting aggravated. I've been seeing on my Instagram today, like, these brands and stuff, like, saying, you know, in honor of Black Lives Matter, here's a list of black influencers, or here's a list of black-owned businesses. That's good, but that's not really what this is about right now. Like, we're talking about a man that had a police officer press his knee against his neck, okay, until the guy died. And then after he didn't have a pulse, they kept doing it. No offense to people, this is different than doing a lipstick tutorial. Okay, so I don't know where the correlation got lost. It's like they're kind of overcompensating now. We get it, white people. You feel kind of guilty. I understand. But what? Like, that's not where my head is. So that's one thing. And then one last thing I have to say, and I know I keep saying that, but this is really the last thing I have to say. Black people, stop prefacing what you're saying with, you know, people always ask me about my race, or people aren't sure which race I am, or people don't know if I'm black or not, or people don't think I'm black because of the way I look. Stop saying that. You're black. Just be black. Just say it. Just say what you have to say. There's no reason to start talking about this and saying, you know, I don't know if my opinion matters because I'm biracial, or because I grew up with around white people, or because, but it's like you're giving an excuse for your blackness. Okay, stop making it like there's a difference, because there's not. Okay, we are all George Floyd. That's all of our dads, brothers, cousins, friends, husbands. We all got to feel this, y'all. This is, I wish that people would protest only peacefully. Because like I said, what I saw on Monday, and I wish people were doing it for the right reasons, because I will tell y'all the truth. And again, that's another thing that's probably not going to be a good thing to say. I've seen a lot of people doing this to put it on Instagram. I've seen, like, there was a report the other day where the reporter was standing there and people were passing behind and throwing up gang signs. Is that the time for that? That's not the time for that crap. Let's just focus on what it is. And yes, it's a system that's really, really broken. And yes, it brings up a lot of other stuff. But now's not the time. Now is the time to fix this, to deal with police brutality, to deal with why we feel like we have to say, people don't know what race I am, but, or, you know, I don't know how people are going to take my opinion because of blah, 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 blah. But just do it. Just say it. Okay? I'm a black woman. I am a black woman and this hurts me. Yes, my brother-in-law is white. I've dated white guys. I have a lot of white friends. But at the end of the day, I don't think all white people are bad. There are some, don't get it twisted. But I'm hurting right now. My family is hurting right now. And not just my immediate family. My family all over the world is hurting right now. Because we feel disposable. It's terrifying to me that when my cousins leave my parents' house in Scott and have to drive back home on those country roads, I am always like, we have a tradition that when everybody leaves, text me when you get home. Text me when you get home. If someone forgets to text me, y'all, I go into a tailspin because I just assume the worst. It is so scary. And if you're not black or brown, because it's not just us, it's not. You can't understand how scary that crap is. Because it's scary. And I know, like, my parents used to always think my sister and I were out of touch because we were raised in a bubble. We were. That's God's honest truth. We were raised in a bubble. I thought this stuff was done with the civil rights movement. I thought we were done with that when I was in high school, you know? But this crap is a rude awakening. And let me tell you, I wasn't sheltered, like, trust and believe, you know? I grew up around some rough stuff. Don't get it twisted. But racism wasn't one of them. And so when I see stuff like that, Black Lives Matter. That's just, I don't know another way to say this. I don't know what else to say anymore, y'all. I'm talked out. I'm glad I got to get some of this off my chest, though. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to finally go to sleep. Just pray, y'all. Pray that we can fix this. I do think, like I said, I think this, there's the video of George's daughter, where she says, my daddy changed the world. And I hope he did. I really hope he did. I feel like this one is different. I really honestly do. And I did see, there was a video that someone recorded of the polling places, because primaries are going on right now too. On top of all the rest of the stuff going on right now, primaries are happening too. And they kept driving and driving. It was blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of people waiting to vote. If you take nothing else from this, take that, go vote. And not just for like the presidential election. Vote for the judges, because that's who decides who gets charged and who doesn't get charged. Okay? Vote for the sheriffs. Okay? Vote for your local leaders. Vote for your mayors. Or, well, in our case, we have a parish president. You gotta go out and vote for that crap. Vote for the senators and the representatives, because that is all in y'all hands. Okay, that's in our hands. But I know people want to get up and wait for Jordans and want to go freaking wait for the new Call of Duty to drop. Well, it used to be Call of Duty. That's kind of old now. But they used to go wait for the new games to drop, but couldn't be bothered to get up and go vote. Go freaking vote. It's so easy. You don't even have to go. You don't have to mail in a registration anymore. You can do the crap online. But if y'all don't change it, nothing is going to change. Why would it? Why would those that are sitting pretty in power, making all the money, doing whatever the hell they want to do, why would they change it just because they feel like changing it? We got to change it. So go change it. I think that's all I got right now, y'all. And I started to like wipe my makeup off from the day. But I'll be damned if somebody's going to tell me how to grieve. But just rest in peace. I'm praying for y'all and y'all family. And y'all debts are not going to be in vain. We're going to get it together. I saw pictures of policemen kneeling with protesters. And that's a great sign. That is a great, great sign. So we'll see what happens. And I pray to God that this is the last video that I have to make like this. And that this is the last video that y'all have to make and tweet and hashtag and picture and everything else. I hope this is the last one.